so we've talked about refuge and bodhicitta. There's a lot in there, isn't there? So let's keep going. So if we look on 41, the beginning, it started out the power of reliance, taking refuge and generating the altruistic intention. Okay, so we covered that. Vajrasattva's appearance is, it's important when you visualize to make sure that he's made of light. Don't visualize a statue or something concrete, and really make Vajrasattva alive. And remember that he's your best friend. So you can be completely open and say anything you want. Anything sincere that you want. Okay. Then halfway down the page, after we've done refuge and bodhicitta, it says the power of regret. Okay, so this is of the four opponent powers for purification. This is perhaps the most important, in that without regret, the other three powers won't arise in our mind. So to generate regret involves being able to look at our actions and our thoughts and our emotions in an honest way. No, really directly and honestly. And so it involves that. It involves being able to discern what is a virtuous thought or emotion and what is a non-virtuous one. So to be able to differentiate those two. And then third, when we have a non-virtuous thought or emotion, the ability to have regret for it. Okay? And so when we have regret, then that propels us to do something. Yeah. If we don't notice our wrongdoings, we're not going to counteract them. If we can't discriminate between virtuous and non-virtuous, wholesome and non-wholesome, we're not going to be able to do anything. And if we don't have regret for our wrongdoings, then, we're really not going to do anything. Yeah. So what's very interesting about regret is that usually, at least in the West, when we think of our negative actions, that have harmed others, what we have regret for is the harm that we caused others. Okay? What Buddhism is teaching us is to have regret for the actions themselves, because we know that they will ripen in ourselves experiencing suffering. So it's a different take, a different perspective of looking at the non-virtuous actions. It's good to see, I harmed somebody and I feel regret for that. But we often then get really stuck because we can't undo the past. So we regret the harm we gave. We can't undo the past. So then we feel this thing is always haunting us. In the Buddhist view, of course we regret having harmed somebody, but the main regret is, by doing this non-virtuous action, I have planted seeds in my mind that will ripen in my own suffering. And I want to prevent those seeds from ripening, because I don't want to experience the suffering, and I don't want to experience the obstacles to my Dharma practice that my non-virtuous actions will bring about. So on one hand, somebody could say, well, that's very selfish. You're only concerned about the harm that you're going to experience because of your negative actions. You're not really feeling sorry for the harm you made others experience. So somebody could say like that. But I think what's happening is, when we feel bad for the harm we caused in the past, it's, like I said, it's good to realize the effect of our actions on others. But if we get stuck there because we can't go back and undo the past, that's not very useful. Whereas this one of feeling regret because we're concerned about what will ripen for ourselves in the future leads us to a regret that we can do something about to stop, the situation from happening. Are you getting what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah? So if I regret, let's say, saying harsh words, and I think about the long-term, effect of those actions on me, then I see, I can do something about that. And so I regret those actions and want to purify them. Okay? So I think it's good to have both of these kinds of regret. But the thing is, when we regret the actions because of the suffering we're going to experience, that entails having the Buddhist worldview. So in one way, that's a little bit deeper than just regretting hurting somebody's feelings. Yeah, because everybody can regret hurting others' feelings, even though we can't do anything about it afterwards. But to regret our non-virtue because the suffering we'll experience involves really believing in past and future lives. Okay? Really having conviction that our actions have an ethical dimension, really believing in the law of karma and its effects. So that kind of regret has some other things underlying it that are really important for our progress on the path.